Hey guys, Carl Cooper here with OnTheBlack.com. So since I posted my video the other day about why I'm cheering for the Phillies in the World Series against the Yankees, I've gotten some pretty mixed reviews. I've got some people on one side who agreed with what I'm saying, and they are also backing the Phillies over the Yankees. And then I've got some people on the other side who are cheering for the Yankees over the Phillies. And, you know, there's been a lot of different comments and sort of some of the same theme I'm seeing as to why Mets fans are cheering for the Yankees over the Phillies is because they're saying that, you know, they can't cheer for our #1 rival or our most hated rival in the Phillies. And that got me to thinking a little bit. And, you know, I had to ask myself the question, do the Mets and the Phillies really have a rivalry, or are the Phillies just the latest team to just beat up on the Mets? And what I mean by that is, you know, before 2007, most of us Mets fans really didn't care about the Phillies. Our main concern, you know, before 2007 was beating the Braves, and beating the Braves, because the Braves were always the team that used to beat up on the Mets. And then the Phillies came along after 2006, Rollins with his prediction in 2007, and them coming back and beating the Mets and then sort of just taking off from there. And so while I'm not a Philly fan and I don't like the Phillies, you know, my reasoning for not liking the Phillies is simple. They're in the NL East, and I want to beat every single team in the NL East. And, you know, some of the reaction I've been hearing is, you know, well, I can't cheer for the Phillies because look at what they've done to us. And my thoughts on that is the Phillies really haven't done anything to the Mets. The Mets have done it all to themselves. And what I mean by that is, you know, the Mets had the division in hand in 2007, and they blew it, and the Phillies were there to pick it up. You know, the Phillies probably would have made the playoffs in 2008, but again, the Mets had a chance to either win the division or win the wild card in 2008, and they blew it again. So, you know, if you really want to have hatred towards someone, you should have it towards the Mets players, not the Phillies, because the Mets gave it away in both of those years. And then, you know, if you look at sort of what's going on now, you know, the Mets management is the reason why the Mets are in the predicament they are now, not the Phillies. You know, if you look at what's gone on over the last couple of years, you know, Phillies management has made all the right moves and Mets management has not made any moves correctly. And what I mean by that is just look at what's going on this offseason. You know, we can all probably agree that the Mets' top 3 priorities are a starting pitcher to go with Johan Santana to pitch behind him, a solid #2. We need a left fielder, and we need a first baseman. And what have the Phillies done? You know, this year they brought in Cliff Lee to pair him up with Cole Hamels. So they answered the bell there in getting a second top-notch starter. What did they do at left field? Last offseason, they went out and got Ibanez, and what did he do this year? He hit 30-something home runs. And then at first base, what have the Phillies recently done? They signed Ryan Howard to a long-term deal and locked him up. So, you know, if you look at sort of what the Mets' priorities are and what they need, you know, to come back here as a team, the Phillies have already done that. And so, you know, while the Mets are scrambling to kind of piece things together and figure out what they're going to do this offseason, you know, the Phillies are in the World Series for the 2nd year in a row. And, you know, if they win this thing, they have a young nucleus together, and they could be in the playoff contention for a few years to come here. So, you know, again, you know, I'm cheering for the Phillies in the World Series because I don't want to see the Yankees win. That's just it. I live in New Jersey, in the New York area, and I don't want to deal with Yankee fans or the media. But at the same time, you know, for those of you out there who, you know, are cheering for the Yankees to beat the Phillies because either you feel that they're, you know, our #1 rival, or, you know, look at what the Phillies have done to us the last few years, I would really ask you to just kind of sit back and think about that for a second. And again, you know, in my opinion, it's not what the Phillies have done to us. It's what the Mets players and the Mets ownership has done to us that really have us in the spot that we're in. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you soon.